Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the Twisting Blades rogue and how to level it up. This is an extremely easy and fast way to level up the rogue. It's the one that I personally use to level up my character, and even with the nerfs it still feels incredibly strong and incredibly easy. So we're going to be covering everything you need to know right here, right now. And to start off with, we're just going to quickly cover what the main core skill is, and that is going to be Twisting Blades. Now, this is a skill that deals moderate single target damage in melee range before launching returning blades from your target that follow you. And once you have the right aspect, they actually even circle around you, dealing even more damage and making it an extremely powerful AoE tool. Now with Twisting Blades, this converts an otherwise really simple melee build into an extremely active hit and run playstyle that you can just keep tanking through mobs because everything around you is going to be dying even as you run away from them. But now let's move into the leveling up process, so follow along and level your character with us. Now to start off with, we need to have 2 points into basic skills to unlock the other sections. And for this, we're going to be using Puncture as our choice because we need as much energy as we can, and it also applies Vulnerable to help us with bigger targets. So for level 2, take Puncture, and then level 3, take Enhanced Puncture. But now after this, we can start to unlock Twisting Blades. This is going to be levels 4 through 7. Now Twisting Blades is the heart of this build. This is going to be your main damage dealer. So whenever you fight more than one target, positioning yourself so that you hit as many possible targets with the returning blade is key. Now right now in your early levels, you're not going to be having a ton of mobility options other than your main dash, so you're mainly just going to be relying on attacking enemies 1 to 3 times and then running away so that they get hit by the returning blades as they pursue you. But for the skills here, take Twisting Blades at level 4, Enhanced Twisting Blades at level 5, Advanced Twisting Blades at level 6, and Fundamental Puncture at level 7. But now moving forward, let's talk about adding some mobility and some damage. These are going to be levels 8 through 15. At this point, you unlock one of the rogue's signature skills. This is your dash. And this agility skill has 2 charges that allows you to quickly engage, escape, or even reposition. You're also going to be picking up Shadow Step, which is another mobility tool, but it's really good at engaging because it does apply some crowd control. But as you're jumping around from enemy to enemy with dash and Shadow Step, you can be applying Twisting Blades to get the massive effect of your blades hitting multiple targets as they return to you. We're also going to be adding on a little bit of extra protection with Dark Shroud. This is an important skill used in most rogue builds due to the massive amount of protection it provides, and you also do get a little bit of a boost of movement speed. So for level 8, you're going to take Dash. Level 9, take Shadow Step. Level 10, 11, and 12, take Twisting Blades. Level 13, take Dark Shroud. Level 14, take Enhanced Dark Shroud. And level 15, take Subverting Dark Shroud in order to trigger the Inner Sight resource refill. Pairing this with the Intervention aspect, you will be able to use Twisting Blades almost constantly without having to rely on Puncture as much. Also at level 15, you are going to be able to unlock the Rogue Specialization class mechanic. Finish that priority quest as soon as possible and get combo points. But now let's add in some energy recovery and also a little bit more utility. This is going to be levels 16 through 31. At this point, your build should pretty much be online, but you're also going to be adding in a little bit of utility with Poison Trap. This allows you to disable a lot of monsters in a specific area to do all of your Twisty Blades business, and jumping away from them with Shadow Step or Dash to proc a massive amount of AoE and blades going through so many different mobs. Also at this point, you are going to be hitting level 20, so you unlock the Inner Sight specialization, which is very crucial in solving any of your energy troubles. While you're fighting monsters, pay attention for a purple icon that will spawn above one of them. That should be your priority. You need to hit that in order to trigger your resource refill with Inner Sight. And when you pair this with Intervention, you should now be able to use Twisting Blades almost consistently without really having to rely on Puncture as much. So for the skills at level 16, take Poison Trap. Level 17, Enhance Poison Trap. Level 18, Twisting Blades. Level 19, Enhanced Shadow Step. Level 20, Methodical Shadow Step. And also at level 20, you're going to be switching from combo points to Inner Sight for your specialization. 21, 22, and 23, you're going to be taking Exploit. Level 24, take Sturdy. Level 25, 26, and 27, take Intervention. Level 28, Adrenaline Rush. Level 29, 30, and 31, take Haste. The last little bit is just going to be adding on as much quality of life and damage as we possibly can put in. So for level 32, 33, and 34, take Trap Mastery. Level 35, take Momentum. Level 36, 37, and 38, take Concussive. Level 39, 40, and 41, take Siphoning Strikes. Level 42, Deadly Venom. Level 43, alchemical advantage. Level 44, 45, and 46, debilitating toxins. Level 47, 48, and 49, weapon mastery. And once you reach level 50, that is going to be your first paragon point. Now, as you do different things in the world of Diablo, you are going to be getting renown throughout the different areas, and that is also going to be netting you some skill points. But once you've reached the end, put them into the nodes to build towards Twisting Blades endgame, which is going to be renown 1, enhanced dash, renown 2, discipline dash, renown 3, 4, and 5, stutter step, renown 6, 7, and 8 go into malice, and renown 9 and 10 go into dash. But now let's move into the gear that you are going to be using in your leveling process. And while you can't really target farm specific gear while leveling, there are going to be a few different stat lines that you are going to be looking out for in order to help you in your process. For the weapons, always use your highest DPS melee weapon available for more damage. Your ranged weapon is a little bit different, however, because it's essentially just a stat stick to fuel their power, so its DPS is secondary. But take a look for these specific stats on any weapons. For one-handed weapons, preferably daggers, you want high DPS, core skill damage, vulnerable damage, and damage to close enemies. For your ranged weapon, you prefer a crossbow, but you're also looking for the stats such as core skill damage, vulnerable damage, and damage to close enemies. Moving into armor though, these are typically going to be more for defensive and utility stats, except for your gloves, which are only really going to be your offensive armor of choice. So for your helmet, look for cooldown reduction, armor, and life. For your body armor, damage reduction, armor, and life. For your gloves, take a look for twisting blade ranks, critical strike chance, and attack speed. For your pants, you want damage reduction, armor, and life. And for your boots, you want movement speed and energy cost reduction. Now, your jewelry is where you're going to be providing most of your powerful offensive stats that help you in your leveling journey. Pay very close attention to the rules, as higher level pieces aren't always better. And for your amulet, you want movement speed, energy cost reduction, damage, and cooldown reduction. And for your rings, take a look for critical strike chance, critical strike damage, and just flat damage. And if you are lucky enough to come across some sockets on your items, you can fill them with the following. For your weapons, you want to put emeralds. For your armor, you want topaz. And for your jewelry, you want skulls. Moving forward though, let's talk about your codex of power. These are going to be the powerful collection of aspects that you can imprint onto rare or legendary items that can absolutely massively increase your damage on this build. And for leveling, there are going to be 3 that you are going to be keeping an eye out for. First off, we have the Blade Dancer's offensive aspect. This is found in Jalal's Vigil in Skosglen. This is the aspect that allows your blades to orbit you for a short period of time after they return to you. This can massively increase your AoE clear and also your damage to bosses, as when your inner sight procs, you can just constantly have blades swinging around you, hitting him and just dealing a bunch of damage. Now next up, we have the Ravenous Resource aspect. This is found in the Shifting City in the Dry Steppes. Now for this, whenever you kill a vulnerable enemy, you grant a percentage increased energy regeneration for a few seconds. And because you are so energy hungry with Twisting Blades on this build, this is massively helpful for your damage, because the more you can use your Twisting Blades, the better. And the less you have to use Puncture, the better, because Twisting Blades just does so much more damage. The last aspect we need to talk about is the Edgemaster's offensive aspect. This is where your skills deal a percentage increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, and they receive the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. When this is paired with your Inner Sight specialization, your Twisting Blades can do a massive amount of damage. Because your Inner Sight gives you full resource for a short period of time, you are going to be dealing a massive amount of damage with your Twisting Blades, because you're just going to be constantly using them because you have so much resource to spend. These can absolutely just blast you into a new tier of damage and help you clear the campaign so much faster. Now, do be warned, do not imprint your weapons while you are leveling. Because you are replacing them so often, they are not worth the time. You are going to want to put your offensive aspects onto your amulets or rings, because they are going to be replaced a lot less often. But next up, let's talk about some helpful legendaries, because if you are lucky enough to find any of these while you are leveling, it can be a massive upgrade for you, and you should equip it if you are able to. Starting off, we have the Accelerating Offensive aspect. This provides extra attack speed after critting, making the build a lot more powerful because you do crit a lot of the time, especially against vulnerable enemies. Next up though, we have the Smiting Offensive aspect. This provides extra critical strike chance and crowd control durations for better defensiveness. Third, we have the Defensive aspect of Disobedience. This provides a ton of extra defense and stacks up easily because we hit many targets with our attacks. This can be found in a dungeon in the Halls of the Damned in Kyrgyzstan. Fourth, we have the Resource aspect of the Umbral. This provides some extra resources to make the build feel even smoother. This also can be found in a dungeon called Champion's Demise in the Dry Steppes. And lastly, we have the Ghostwalker mobility aspect. This provides extra speed and the ability to move through enemies, which is great for better targeting and helps you with your blades returning, because if you don't have any collision, it makes your mobility just that much better. This can be found in the Broken Bulwark dungeon in Skosklen. And if you guys are having trouble finding any of these dungeons, go into your Codex of Power, find the specific one and pin it to your map. This will draw you a line straight to the dungeon. But like I said guys, I personally play this build and it's still very smooth even after the nerfs. I only struggled on a few things in the campaign, and that's when I was standing in something stupid and just forgot to move. It did a bunch of damage to bosses, and even in the end game it still feels amazing. So if you guys have any questions about the leveling process, drop in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. But if you guys are also interested in staying up to date with the latest and greatest Diablo 4 tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching once again, mates, endgame, and I will see you guys in the next one.